There is an ultimate transformation that can't exist in Ben 10. And even though the Ultimatrix is said to evolve literally any alien, doing the same for a Celestial Sapien is very tricky. But could I be wrong? Can a Celestial Sapien actually go ultimate? And what would the outcome be if it actually did? Like the video and subscribe if you're new. Before a Celestial Sapien can go ultimate, we first need to know what the Ultimatrix actually does. The watch has an evolutionary function that when accessed, places an alien DNA sample under a simulated doomsday. This is a million-year worst-case scenario that forces it to evolve into a combat-ready version of itself. This kind of evolution pushes aliens to become more resilient and more powerful. We've seen this in multiple real-life Earth species, like bedbugs developing thicker exoskeletons and a resistance to poison, and peppered moths who have evolved their colors to become darker, blending in with trees better and hiding from predators. Evolution isn't linear though, and it affects every species uniquely, giving us many different possibilities for how it can turn out. And the Celestial Sapien is no different. But there are 3 possibilities that I have that come to mind for how this process could turn out. Making an alien go ultimate, as we said before, generates a simulation on an alien right from the DNA outwards. Now think about the simulation like a computer program being run, with the Ultimatrix being the computer. For a game to run well on any PC, you need enough processing power and memory. A good graphics card too, but I've seen people work around that already. The Ultimatrix runs these simulations nearly instantaneously, and it can give us an ultimate like that. But here's the thing, I don't think it will work with Alien X. You see, a Celestial Sapien is a being with limitless power that aren't confined by any rules. Whether it's physics, biology, or chemistry, these guys do not care. You can brand them as a being with a status of infinity. Now to transform into that being is mind-boggling enough. Of the 3 possibilities, we can look at my first theory, which is here on this old computer. Let's say we booted up this Windows XP computer, and we try to install Marvel Rivals. Let's also say we have enough space to install the game, and once it's there, we try booting it up and playing it. With the fact that a Windows XP computer is not compatible with a high-end modern game like that, it will put a massive strain on your PC. We might literally have this thing catch on fire, and I think this might be the same problem we encounter with Alien X. The Celestial Sapien would most likely burn up the resources of the Ultimatrix as it tries to simulate something suitable for the evolution. This could take literally forever, going over millions, billions, and trillions of years, using up so many resources to create this artificial transformation. This might just result in the Ultimatrix being fried beyond repair in an attempt to go ultimate. But here's a second option that would allow us to bypass our hardware issue and access an ultimate Alien X. And the way we do this is by using virtual machines, or by putting an Ultimatrix within an Ultimatrix. Huh? Let me explain. You see, a virtual machine is essentially a computer within a computer. It gives a user access to using multiple separate operating systems within their own physical computer. This can give you a more efficient way to manage your resources and more isolated environments for programs being run. Virtual machines are also a lot easier on hardware and can have multiple of them run at once, which would be perfect to simulate an evolution for Alien X. This virtual machine could maximize the capacity of the Ultimatrix and run the same simulations multiple times on multiple different operating systems. We can call it Ultimatrix.exe. In the simplest of ways, it would act like shiny hunting in Pokemon with multiple devices running all at once. With each computer doing the same task, it would increase the odds of success each time without crashing the Ultimatrix. And after testing more and more scenarios over trillions of years on this alien, all running concurrently, would eventually find us that shiny Alien X that we're looking for. Evolution isn't quite linear though, and after a successful simulation, we won't just be finding a green Alien X that sparkles and glows in the dark. However, there are 2 likely possibilities that I believe in as the way Alien X goes ultimate, with the first one being becoming the one above all. This is the main theory that I have seen not only on Twitter but from the Ink Tank as well. This is where the Celestial Sapien becomes an evolved consciousness, and turns into a truly omnipotent creature, becoming everywhere and everything all at once. Alien X would metaphorically dissolve into the universal Kool-Aid and become something like most religious gods. However, the way this will affect the main three personalities, Ben, Serena, and Bellicus, is where we have a true difference. My theory is that it would make them all a separate trinity, but also one in the same, sort of like the Holy Spirit, Jesus, and Yahweh in Christianity. Each equally omnipotent, each equally the same, but each equally different as well. I think this merging would change Ben's personality completely and make him possibly an unemotive consciousness that can read the multiverse about as easily as a 6-year-old reading their name. However, that kind of true neutrality and enlightenment might cause Ben to never ever become human again, as he could possibly see no point in doing so. He would essentially become one with the cosmic energies of everything and never return to us. Think of something like when Barry Allen faded into the Speed Force and became one with it. A key thing to note though with Alien X is that the power in this transformation really stems from the personalities and are limited by the debate system. So another option of evolution would be a complete removal of the debate system altogether, as a means of liberating Alien X's power. But there's a catch. Let me explain. In order to achieve this, the simulation would have to focus on Alien X's psychology rather than his physiology. It would have to be a trauma simulation that would break down Alien X psychologically, forcing Ben into making his personalities come forward and become more of defense mechanisms than alter egos that he has conversations with, creating a forced multiple personality disorder, each being an equal wielder of the power just like any other. This would have Alien X operate in a way that is based on the user's will and their own disposition, which would in turn give them their own unique form of powers and abilities to use in combat. They would all be bound by a sort of multiple personality disorder, each sharing the power of a singular body, sort of like how Moon Knight operates with his 3 personalities, distinctly like the differences between Stephen Grant and Mark Spector in the way they fight and use their abilities. This could give Ben different fighting styles based on who is in control at the time, with Bellicus being a brutish, stoic, powerful gladiator, an unstoppable force like Gladiator Hulk. Serena, on the other hand, could be an elegant, flexible assassin or rogue type, sort of like your Forger from Spy X Family. And Ben, being the embodiment of creativity and expression, could be a fighter who is only bound by his imagination, sort of like Gear 5 Luffy. This would make Alien X a lot more fun and unpredictable whenever he's in a fight, since it makes him more active with a variety of things that could happen. This would be excellent for stories, maybe combat where each head is struggling for control, or with the will of Serena or Bellicus overwhelming Ben for multiple episodes and having him not return to human form at all. But hey, that's just my thoughts on Ultimate Alien X. Thank you for watching. Which Ben got the better aliens in their Omnitrix? It's been a debate as old as